Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tonight, the stars of the Simracingpoints Sportscar Series will be taking on the tough and challenging Roval that has been made famous by NASCAR. I'm joined in the booth tonight by my partner, Dean Doucet. Dean, the sports car drivers are taking on the Roval. We know how difficult it is for the Cup drivers and the Xfinity drivers, the NASCAR guys that do this track on the regular. Sports car guys, not necessarily up their wheelhouse, but this track, it's much like a street course, and we're going to see a lot of combative racing here tonight.
Yeah, and what an interesting statement you just made. You know, the not up the alley of a road racer for a road track, but maybe a little bit on the favor of the NASCAR guys who've done some. So look for maybe a Brody Hanna or Michael Blackner, who's always up there, of course, and a couple others who have some, NASCAR experience, feel a little more comfortable tonight. Maybe a big night out of them.
You're exactly right, Dean. We got qualifying going on right now here at the Charlotte Roval. Let's take a look at our race information here.
Don't believe any laps are in. I'm showing Alan Dobbs on the top of the board, but without a time scored. So very interesting there.
And these guys will have 4 laps here to get their laps in, or 10 minutes, whichever comes first here.
Now, how difficult is it out here, Jared? I know you're a little familiar with the road racing here and the incidents. I'm hearing like there's a little bit of room for error out here tonight.
Yeah, this track is a very difficult track, and we'll take a look at the how this track lays out, but it drives a lot like a street course. Walls are very close. You don't have any runoff, and if you do make a mistake, you're going to be probably punished for it in this layout. Looking at our race information for tonight. Tonight's the very first sprint challenge race of the season, so that means it's a 50-minute race. These guys will likely have to do 1 pit stop but no more. Right now, Dean, the sun is setting, so we are in the late afternoon stages. It is 82 air temp, 87 track temp, but that will continue to change with winds out of the southwest at 10 miles an hour, partly cloudy. But Dean, you bring up a really great point about this track. It is a surprisingly difficult track, especially in these high performance cars where there's a lot of downforce and a lot of speed. And you're going to have the LMP guys running 6 or 7 seconds faster than these GTE cars. They're going to be coming up on traffic very quickly, as you see the Matt Kuntz go to the top of the board right now in LMP2 with a 1 minute 9 second lap.
Yeah, Kuntz and DeCesare looking like they're going to do battle again. But yeah, great point about the closing speed. A little bit of a smaller road track, or at least tighter turns. These P2 cars are going to be coming up on traffic early and often. It's going to play a factor not only for them, but the pro and the amateurs as well, as they look to either let people by or stay out of the way. And sometimes that can be detrimental, Jared. These guys usually like you to just run your own line.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially at the faster classes, you see Brody Hanna go across the line. Going fastest in the GTE-Pro class, making his second start of the year, and he's actually doing really good. We check in on the AM class. That's Ryan Pagel. We saw him last time, which has been a while for those that joined us for the 120 minutes of Sebring about 3 weeks ago. That action was in, and Pagel was leading there in that race with about 6 or 7 minutes to go. Went off track, ended up finishing third in class after actually leading all the GTEs. Probably looking for a rebound here tonight.
Yeah, Pagel was fantastic, leading all GTEs, even the pros, and he did have those late incidents. We had that with several cars. Tires, that long race, most guys did not take tires, and it ended up costing them very late in the race. I wonder what kind of strategy we'll get tonight.
It's going to be a huge race for these guys. And you look at the guys still getting out there doing their laps out here. We got Matt Kuntz out here on the track right now in the very racing. Number 69 there. He is getting his third lap in. Just went to a 1:08.9. We expect that Josh Wilkie will be toward the top of the board as well, as he's just now going out for his first lap. Still about 6 minutes left here in the qualifying round. And we'll take a look real quick at our championship standings. Let's start with the P2 guys. And this is a pretty tight battle. There's only about 3 drivers involved in this right now. But Kuntz at the top with 140 points. DeCesare 1 point back. And Josh Wilkie is 29 points back, with Paul Romanitsky another 10 points back there in fourth, with Paul not here tonight. Scott Page moving over from the GTE class to the LMP2 class for the remainder of the season, so he will be picking up toward the bottom of that class, Dean. And we look over to the GT Pros, and I think you have that one pulled up.
Yeah, GT Pros, Michael Blackner been fairly dominant out here this season, leading with 144 points. You got Taylor in second, 24 points back, but doing a great job. And Joe Flanagan, Pepto Joe, out in third. He's been doing a really great job. Very consistent driver. Donnie Staubach, Filipowicz is in there, and you see the rest of the field.
Yeah, Shoemaker not able to make it tonight, so he will lose some ground, a little ground. And then we go over to the GT-AM class. Right now, that's Eric Bergdorf, Darren Snyder, and Brian Pagel. Those three drivers have been battling hard all season. But then you look at Escobar, who's here tonight, Bliss, who's missing the race, Rupert, who's here tonight, Loomis, who's here tonight. They're all still well within this championship battle, as is Tony the Ferrari Solari back there in ninth place.
Yeah, Tony Solari here, and he's going to be good out there. I'm really sad to see Brian Bliss miss this one. So excited. Last week, he had a really good showing, second or third, something like that. Great job. But Pagel's going to be someone to watch. And I believe we got the newcomer out here, Dobbs. He's going to be someone to watch as well.
And Alan Dobbs actually top of the board among all GT drivers right now, making his debut race tonight. 115.1, just right on the edge of Brody Hanna. Blackner, 0.03 of a second slower, as you see Josh Wilkie completing his second lap, and he is actually doing a really good job trying to beat out Matt Kuntz. We saw a great battle between these three, DeCesare, Kuntz, and Wilkie last week, and despite LMP2, just like in real life where there's not a lot of drivers, just like in real life, the battle is intense no matter how many drivers there is.
Man, is it ever. These three guys are very evenly matched. And we've seen like the last race, I think it was Wilkie leading early, Chesney and Kuntz leading at different times. It was really a battle of wills, and that endurance race really came into play late in the race. And these three, they're going to put on a show here tonight again.
See, we got 11 live viewers right now. If you're out there, shout us a comment. We'd love to hear from you as we take on the second event here of the Full Throttle Simracing Points Sports Car Series. Josh Wilkie finishing his lap up. Theo Taylor, one of the Proton Boogie cars, going out for his final run here. He has 0.06 of a second, so very close, Dean, between Dobbs, Hanna, Blackner, and Taylor, all very within less than 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, man, you brought up Brody Hanna. He was going to be my dark horse pick, but I don't know if you can call him a dark horse. I know him. He's a heck of a road racer, but doesn't do it often. Doesn't know many tracks, but he knows this track. He's going to be dangerous tonight. And these three are going to do battle. Looks like we're going to have some great battles in these classes.
And Dean, we were just on board there through the cameras on Theo Taylor. Coming into NASCAR Turn 2, that sun is massively bright. And as it continues to set, that is going to be something these drivers are going to have to work and fight against all night long. Going to be crucial to see how they're going to get through that turn. Is Theo Taylor the last driver out on the track? I actually think Jari Brupacher also out there as well, who might be oh no, Theo Taylor is abandoning his lap, so he will not finish this. We got about 30 seconds left here in the qualifying time here.
Yeah, looking like Brody Hanna going to hold that pro class. DeCesare going to hold the P2 class. And Alan Dobbs, in the amateur, but leading all GTE cars.
We got Josh Mayu out there watching. So, Josh, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in tonight for the second event here at the Simracingpoints Sprint Challenge here at the Roval. And qualifying wrapping up, Loomis and Jari Brupacher did not take time, so they'll start at the back. But these guys are going to get it started here tonight at the Roval for 50 minutes of action. Dean, we did a 2-hour race last week. How much different is it for these guys to come in and do a 50-minute race this week?
Well, I'd say it's about an hour and 10 minutes difference, but it's very different, Jared. I mean, you've got to pace yourself. There's so much that comes into play in an hour, like 2 hour race. It's just so different. You got to keep your mind together. You got to keep your body together. Here, more of a sprint style challenge. Some of these speed demons, if they can keep that car on the track, going to be their big advantage. And I want to say, George Pahoutsky there, he's in there for very racing. He says, let's go and take another dub.
There you go. So Matt Kuntz and Nick DeCesare getting some guys out there rooting for him. Let's get into the starting grid, and we will take a look at our LMP2 grid first, Dean. And let's see here as a little technical difficulty there. There we go. Apologies about that. Nick DeCesare on the point. He turns a half a second quicker lap than his teammate Matt Kuntz. And then Josh Wilkie will be 9/10 of a second back, and Scott Page around 2 seconds behind. So those are our 4 LMP2 P2 class drivers, Dean. And let's go ahead and look at the GTE amateur class.
Yeah, the amateur class, very tight. You alluded to it in these top 3. You got Hannah edging out the leader, Michael Blackner, leader in the points, and Theo Taylor was right in there. 1, 2, 3. Joe Flanagan in 4th, and Mark Romaneski is going to round out that field.
Yep, exactly right here. That's the GTE-Pro class. I misspoke there. So 5 drivers in the Pro class, but the big class here tonight, as always, it's the AM class, and it's a big one. Alan Dobbs at the top, Ryan Pagel there in 2nd place, Bergdorf and Snyder in row 2, Tony Solari with Rex Hoyle in row 3, Kevin Rupert and Yario Escobar in row 4, Loomis and Yari Bruchpacher round out your field for that. So a very large GTE AM class here tonight, and that's going to make it very interesting with these guys.
It's going to be interesting for sure. You know, the P2s did qualify up front, which is always good, allow them to get out there and get their lead, but it'll be quickly when they run into lap traffic and some problems. Not only that, just at the start of this race, even within that big GTE class, you know, they got to get through this first turn, Jared. That's not always that easy.
No, it's not. And you see there, we're on board Nick DeCesare. There is that sun really is impacting several places on the track. We take a look at the current time in game. It is currently 6:50, so we have about 30 or 25 minutes of racing before the sun will set, and then we'll have quite a bit of darkness for the rest of the event, which is going to bring its own challenges in as well.
It really will. Just those changes, your markers, they come, they go, they change, they disappear, and these guys are going to have to deal with that. And the one who does it the best, he's going to come out on top.
Exactly right. You look at the LMP2 class; these guys will have about a little bit of a gap, about 7-second or so gap to the GTE class. So there's quite a bit of room between these guys. And that's the best way to do it. That's the regulation typically in these series. That way, in case there's a wreck in that other class, there's time for them to get out of the way. But these LMP2 drivers, they're going to be on the gun from the beginning. I've been hearing that there is definitely going to be some fuel strategy involved in this race. And then the GTE class, since the last time we were with you, they updated the tires. So now the tires wear significantly more than they have in the first 4 races that we've run. That's going to be something to really watch out for and see if these guys will end up changing tires here tonight as the race goes on.
Yeah, I doubt that would happen in a 50-minute race, but I'm telling you that 2-hour race we had last week, the one guy who did take tires ended up winning that race. So I don't know. They might be in the back of their minds for tonight.
Pace car makes the turn. They'll have to use the chicane to start out here. The flagman's got the flag up. Barney with the flag, and green flag is out at the sprint challenge at the Roval, and a great start by DeCesare going into the turn 1. And we'll take a look at our GTE class. Alan Dobbs taken away from Brody Hanna, Blackner in 3rd.
Yeah, Rangel and Taylor, or Pagel and Taylor, I should say, doing battle as are others.
Pagel and Taylor, that's a battle for position on the track, not position in the standings. Up at the front, though, DeCesare checking out, and Wilkie now looking under Kuntz, going into turn 5.
Yeah, Wilkie looking to get up there and do some damage. He doesn't want to let DeCesare get away here. He wants to keep him within his sights. And that's no easy task.
The 007, the agent there. If we look back at the GTE class, Brody Hanna is on Alan Dobbs, and we might have a battle, even though it's not a battle for the overall class lead. It is a battle on track for the overall GTE lead, and both these guys want that no matter what.
Yeah, this is only helping Brody Hanna, really, with that big draft he's catching down that straightaway. With Dobbs, new to the league here, heading into the amateur class, he might already be ready to make that leap to the pro.
Tony Solari spins out in the bus stop. He gets it going. Didn't hit anything, so he's going to drop all the way back to 18th place, just ahead of Steven Loomis in 19th. Romaninski moves up. Jari Bruchpacker moves up. He's got a little front end or side damage on that number 89, but everybody clean through the first lap. Maybe some contact. Back up front, DeCesare is now losing out to Wilkie, and Wilkie goes to the lead.
Wilkie, impressive, taking the lead early here tonight.
So Josh Wilkie has put the 007 up front, and Dean, we've seen this in the past, get out to that lead, and then he just makes a mistake. He had to recover from Sebring last week after spinning out, but tonight looking very good.
Yeah, just a little update on Tony Solari as well. First chicane there, he just, the car just looped around on him. No contact with anything, so his car is fine.
We bring our drone cam in. You see just how much Josh Wilkie has been able to expand the lead out. It has been impressive, already up to a second lead here among this class.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, he wasn't even in the lead just 2 laps ago, and here he is stretching it out. It'd be interesting to see here. You talked about tires. Will they become a factor here, as we're only 3 minutes into a 50-minute race?
Scott Page doing a good job holding on the back of this group. But in the meantime, Michael Blackner has got around Hanna and Dobbs. So put Blackner to the point. And let's get a quick replay on what happened there. So Blackner coming into the chicane. And lock up from both of those drivers. And Blackner was able to get around Hanna, who had to do a slowdown. They both had to do a slowdown, Dean.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not picking it up, but that is interesting. You do not want to give Michael Blackner the lead.
So that's what happened there. So Blackner to the point.
Brody Hanna off a little bit there.
Now Brody looks like he's suffering just a little bit, as now we've got Pagel and Taylor hounding him down. We also have Snyder, Bergdorf, Flanagan all in this mix as well.
Something going on with Hanna, a little shook up after that pass by Michael and the apparent little problem, and he went off, and he's submitting again, locking him up.
Locked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is with these cars, you lock it up one time, that gets the heat in the right front or the left front, whichever one you lock up, and all of a sudden that car just doesn't handle the same way. Hanna's coming in the pits already, it looks like. That car, maybe he has some damage on that machine, as he is locking it up still.
Something wrong there for sure.
Looking back up front, you've got, and this is a beautiful track. I mean, you watch the spotter cam here. There is drivers all over this thing already. But Kuntz, Wilkie, DeCesare, and Page all still pretty close together. But they are gaining quickly on the back of this GTE class.
Yeah, doing a great job. Unfortunately, Jared, having a little technical difficulties on my end. Just need a minute or so.
That's all good. It happens. And we look in on our battle. Michael Blackner has extended his lead out in the GTE-Pro class. That is a large lead. Let's start focusing in on how that's looking. Blackner with a 7-second lead over Taylor. Flanagan there, 10 seconds back. Romaninski, 15. Hanna in the pits right now with some repairs going on, it looks like. Then we look over to the GTE-AM class. Alan Dobbs leading that one, 2 seconds ahead of Pagel. Snyder in there as well, and Bergdorf. So a little bit of a more battle in the GTE-AM class as we are 5 minutes into 50 minutes here at the Charlotte Roval. Back up front in the LMP2, it has been Wilkie and Kuntz. Half a second battle between these guys. DeCesare losing a little bit of ground here. So these guys going to have a little work to do here in this race to catch back up.
All right, think we got it worked out, Jared. Yeah, interesting as this race progresses here. Wilkie jumped out to that lead, but Kuntz is catching him, Jared.
Yeah, Matt Kuntz catching him back up, so that's always makes it a little bit entertaining, you know, when that happens.
Makes it really entertaining. And, you know, DeCesare right there. And, you know, give Scott Page credit. He's hanging in there, man. And this is his first time here in the P2 car.
Yeah, he was running the GTE last time we saw him on the track. Decided to make the change over, loses all the points he accumulated, but said he just wanted a different challenge, and he is getting it here tonight with these guys. But the top three, they have proved it, Dean. They are extremely tough guys to race here in these LMP2 cars.
And are they ever so evenly matched? A little bit of different driving style, a little different strategy on how they attack the track and the race itself, but it seems to always play out with them like nose to tail. This is going to be great.
Gyro Racing driver Yario Escobar spins out in the backstretch chicane there, so he will drop some drop to the back of the pack right now in 17th overall. And there is Steve Loomis getting lapped by our leaders, so the leaders starting to catch up to some of that GTE traffic.
Yeah, they are, and you know, Escobar there doing the exact same thing that we see Pepto Joe do earlier. But you're right, the lap traffic already going to start to become a factor here.
There's Joe Flanagan checking in on him, third on the positions for the GTE-Pro. Escobar goes off again, and it's kind of a similar problem. Once you start locking that car up, it just becomes kind of hard to drive, and he's going to let all these LMP2 cars go by and get that 26 machine moving forward.
Yeah, he's just a little touch of the grass there, I think, on entry, Jared, and that caused that car to go around in a hurry.
Dean, the sun is setting, so now we don't have as much of a sun problem as we did earlier, but the light's getting bright here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Josh Wilkie has increased that gap out, but now the very racing drivers, Kuntz and DeCesare, are down nose to tail. And Dean, when you're in this situation with your teammates or anybody else, you know, you're the faster guy and you're behind your teammate. You kind of want them to kind of move out of your way and let you go and try to chase down the leader?
Well, yeah, you do, and you know it's tough. Usually, you know, you come up and you're like, "Oh, you're fine. Just, you know, you're doing great. I'll just follow you." And immediately you regret saying that, and you say, "Really, I won't buy you." So, you know, it's kind of like both people want to be nice. One wants to say, "You're fine, stay there," and the other one should say, "No, go ahead, man."
But we'll see what happens. Looks like the Kuntz and DeCesare very good through this opening section of the track and able to gain back up on Josh Wilkie. We'll check in on the GTE battle. Kind of lonely for Blackner, well out ahead. Same with Dobbs as they are dominating their class, but Ryan Pagel making some ground up on Dobbs in the AM class.
Yeah, Pagel, man, he's dangerous. We've seen him leading the entire GTE class during the last race and, you know, thought he was going to win that. Had some late problems there, probably with some tire wear, but Pagel is dangerous, and he's definitely catching Dobbs.
Pagel, and then we also have Theo Taylor, who's coming with these guys. So Blackner is 8 seconds ahead of Theo Taylor. That's the battle on the track between those two drivers. So, and then we have obviously Dobbs, Pagel, and Snyder battling there as well. Snyder has a little bit of a gap on his one of his de facto teammates, Eric Bergdorf, for the last podium position in the AM class. Gotta say, Dean, this track looks very good with the sun setting out there. It's just a very nice looking track.
Oh, it's so picturesque out here right now. It's a perfect time to have a race. Just beautiful looking. You know, I'm looking in right now on the number 13, Darren Schneider. Last week, he won his class, you know, persevered and got that win. And he's, you know, a little bit behind Dobbs and Pagel here, but still having a nice night.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, it's points, right? I mean, Bergdorf is the leader in the point standings. So you beat him, and you're going to gain some points on him. Pagel is third in the points. So this is second, third, and fourth. Those guys are the battles in the points. And then you also have to can't count out Jari Brupacher, who goes deep into the chicane, but makes that Ferrari stick. He is rocking it through there. The Swedish, the Finnish driver. We got a wreck. I apologize.
We got Kuntz.
We have Kuntz that's in trouble.
Some kind of incident, multi-incidents for Kuntz.
Let's see what happens here. So Kuntz, we see him in the NASCAR oval coming onto the back stretch. So this has got to be a chicane issue. We see Tony Solari up in front of him. Oh no! Bumps into Tony Solari, avoids the chicane, has to stop because of the drive-through there, and then gets going. That's a tough break for Kuntz. Looked like Solari was just trying to get out of the way, and then at the same time, Solari gets tagged by Yario Escobar.
Man, so tough on Tony Solari, but Kuntz, I mean, it was just so hard there, and yeah, Solari there having major problems, but so tough for Kuntz. He's going to have to persevere here. Now back, I don't know, he must be about 10 seconds back there.
12.2 as he gets around some of these other LMP2 GTE drivers. But that's a tough break, and that's what we were talking about, Dean, our intro here. This is a track that is very fast, but races like a street course, and that makes it very difficult, especially when you're trying to come up on traffic that's slower than you. And Kuntz now has to battle with Scott Page, and we have to wonder if the 69 has any damage.
Yeah, I mean, you made some prophetic statements about it early on in the broadcast. You're bang on. This lap traffic, a huge issue. We've seen a prime example right there. You know, we're not sure if Solari is trying to give him room or not, or if it's just a speed difference, but these are the problems that'll constantly come up all night. We're only 12 minutes in here.
And you see Wilkie has put Joe Flanagan a lap down, so he's getting up through the top half, the top quarter of this GTE class. So Wilkie really making it going, and he is getting through this a lot better than DeCesare is in that LMP2 drive.
Yeah, Wilkie's just so tough, man, and we've seen that before. He's just a great, smooth driver. Now, we did see some mistakes out of him at different points in the race last week. We'll see if he can keep it together here for all 50 minutes.
13 minutes in now, and DeCesare sitting there in second place. Matt Kuntz, Scott Page, that's your LMP2 breakdown. Blackner leading the GTE-Pro by 8 seconds over Theo Taylor. He has been a man that's unstoppable in this car this year. I mean, he had some incidents at the Daytona race that we did not broadcast, but other than that, he has been flawless in that number 22. Bringing out a special paint scheme tonight, the Xerox paint. I really like that. Reminds me of the old Johnny Benson cars.
Yeah, really sharp look in there. Michael's been just fantastic. And, you know, he didn't have the best start here, and he had to be worried about Hannah. He had to be worried about Dobbs in the amateur class, and Theo Taylor in the pro class. But, you know, here he is again. I mean, I wouldn't say he gets luck going his way because he's been super quality, but this is a bit of a lucky break for him to be out here in front and just on cruise control this early in the race.
Mark Romanensky spins in turn one. He gets it going. Had to do a 4-point turn there in the Proton Boogie Sim Sports machine, and he gets that machine going, so he is back underway. But you bring up some really good points. Blackner has persevered, and then you speak of Blackner, you talked about Alan Dobbs, debut race, and he's increased his gap to 3 seconds over Ryan Pegel in that AM class, doing a really good job in a BMW, and indeed we haven't seen hardly any BMWs in this series.
No, we haven't seen too many at all, but he's making it work great. Not only is he increasing the gap to Pagel, but he closed in significantly on Michael Blackner. A little cross-class fight, perhaps, Bruin.
Yeah, exactly right. He'll get some bonus points for beating Blackner if he is the GTE-AM winner and overall GTE winner. And you see he's got Kuntz behind him and Steve Loomis in front of him, and this is gonna be interesting.
Oh my goodness, is it ever. They considered 3 wide momentarily, but everybody, cooler heads prevail, and now Kuntz going to get let on by.
Sorry, I apologize. That is Josh Wilkie, our race leader, had to slow up there, and he's lost about a second because of that. Romanensky has decided to come into the pits. So the 716 is in pit road after spinning out and hitting that inside wall. But Wilkie, when you're the leader, Dean, and you know, I know you haven't ran too much multi-class racing, but if you're the leader in this multi-class machine and you're in the faster car, how do you temper the patience when you're trying to get around guys like that?
Well, you know, it's really tough on these tighter sections on the inside portion of this track. You've got to have patience, especially as the leader. Even if you lose a couple of seconds, so be it. Just don't wreck that vehicle. Wait for that straightaway you can pick them up, pick them off very easily there.
Exactly. Really good point. I mean, that is basically all there is to it. And it doesn't get any easier for these guys as they'll have Long Beach in 2 weeks, and that's going to be an even more difficult track for these guys, but especially since its popularity. But Wilkie has now put the entire GTE field a lap down, so that means the GTE is already starting to show where they're at as far as the overall pace, but Blackner leading there. We look back at some of these battles here on the track, Dean. Not a lot to speak of, but Hoyle, Rupert, and Solari all battling kind of for 6th place right now in GTE-AM.
Yeah, Rex Hoyle out here, Kevin Rupert, and Tony Solari. Solari he's struggling a bit, but Rupert and Hoyle are they're in a good little battle here, and these guys seem quite evenly matched.
And that's Chevy versus Porsche there. There's Kevin Rupert. And Dean, you've covered Kevin in the Blackwater Truck Series here, and he obviously races in the other series. Yari Brupacher also went off in the chicane, but he got that Ferrari going again. Kevin's really kind of come on strong over the past few weeks, Dean.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's a rookie in the FTSR Oval Series. He's been doing a great job. I mean, what do we usually say, Jared? If we're not calling your name a lot, that's exactly what we want. That's a great thing. And we haven't had to call his name for anything bad, only good stuff. So Rupert, he's got a good future here at Full Throttle Sim Racing.
Yeah, very, very awesome guy. I've talked to him a few times and done a very good job tonight. Trying to catch down Rex Hoyle, who made his debut last week in that Porsche, and he's had a great run. He is catching up to Jari Brupacher as well. So these guys going to be in a little bit of a fight. That's for 5th place in GTE-AM. That's where our battle is right now as we get that drone cam going, Dan. You really see the elevations through this infield section. Even though it's a, quote, Roval, there is quite a bit of infield elevation changes.
Oh, there definitely is. There's a little up and down, a little flow left to right. The balance of these cars is going to get thrown around quite a bit. I just want to take a minute to address Javi there in the chat in YouTube. The quality of the videos here, it should be good. Make sure you adjust your settings on there to get up to 1080p or whatever you're able to get. And other than that, YouTube also does not upgrade these videos until after the race, after they're posted. So they're as good as we get here, and I think they're quite good, Jared.
Yeah, we're just checking our stats here. We are broadcasting this thing over in 1080p, so if you are having some issues, definitely report it, and that way we can see what's going on there. But we are looking strong, but we will definitely troubleshoot any issues after the race here. And Blackner continue to lead in the GTE-Pro class. Wilkie getting through traffic amazingly. He's back by himself, and that gap to DeChesry is 5.2 seconds now, Dean. The 007 looking very good.
Secret agent, man, starting to pull out here. He's looking awfully tough tonight, but never, ever count out these other guys, these P2 drivers. They've done some funky things, but I'm really interested in what Alan Dobbs is doing, starting to run down Michael Blackner. How impressive is that?
Yeah, it is. And let's bring up the overall standings here so you guys can get a good look at this. But there it is. Dobbs, Blackner and Dobbs. And let's take a look at the intervals. And you'll see that Blackner, that gap's come down quite a bit there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it balances out a bit here and there. But overall, Dobbs a little bit quicker as he has to let someone by there, a P2 car. So might lose a little time there.
Dobbs really proven himself in his debut race here in the Full Throttle Simracingpoints sports car.
Off the track, and someone else as well.
Looks like Loomis off the track.
Rupert? Loomis, yeah.
Loomis is spun coming into the front straightaway. That's the number 17 Blackwater Motorsports machine. And it looks like he could not get that car restarted and had to jump to pits.
Yeah, unfortunate for Loomis. He perseveres out here. We give him a lot of credit, man. He shows up night in and night out across 4 different series and puts in one heck of an effort. So we hope he gets back out on the track.
Yeah, and you look at that, Jari Brupacher also went off track. He has got that machine going, but he lost those positions, Dean. We talked about it. Hoyle and Rupert had gotten around him, and now he's got Tony Solari breathing down his neck. Only 3.3 seconds between those two drivers.
Yeah, that was a tough break for him, making his debut, I believe, here, and he'll get it back going here. But it's tough, man, when someone loses it in front of you. You know, you got a little get a little shooken up and maybe miss your marks a little bit.
Yeah, his debut on Full Throttle TV, but this is his third start of the season here for the 89. He's had some tough goes. Gotten a wreck at Daytona on the first lap, gotten a wreck at Monza at the first lap. So good to actually see him actually completing some laps here. And none of those incidents were of his doing. So the 89 doing a really good job here tonight, even though he is kind of up and down on the track. But back up front, Dean, you look at these guys. It's been the Josh Wilkie show this time, and you see him going around Tony Solari. Solari getting out of the way a little bit better this time, and looks like Brupacher on pit road as well. Dean, we don't know exactly the fuel strategy. We know that these guys are going to have to make one pit stop, but you're around 20 minutes in. Do you start thinking about it?
Yeah, Kuntz is thinking about it now. He's in. So he's going to pull your strategy, a little short pit here from Matthew Kuntz. And I guess they've already within that fuel window. So we'll see here. I don't expect any tires, though.
Oh, exactly, and we'll see him. Matt Kuntz coming down pit road in the number 69 Very Racing machine. Now, they do have pit limiters, so it's not like NASCAR. For those of you that maybe don't follow this series or in real life or anything like that, there's a button they hit, and they can pretty much get these things going. But there is some debate about taking tires. Talked to Nick Chesney last night, and he said that there might be some tire taking here in this race, especially after what Wilkie did last week. But Kuntz not going to do it. He's down the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between 50-minute race and a 2-hour race. So I don't expect it tonight, but you never know. It could be. And just to update our YouTube viewer there, from what you're saying, it seems like it's probably on your end. Your machine probably just can't handle the bit rate and the amount of video quality we're putting out. If you want to try us over on Facebook, on Full Throttle TV, you might have a better viewing experience.
Yeah, we do apologize about that, but we want to make sure we get the highest quality video out to our users and put it out there in the highest format as we can. But it can't be taxing on the systems at the same time as we approach the nighttime here with Dean at the Charlotte Roval. Sun is set, lights are on, and now the track temp, as we look at our weather, has come down. We started out tonight at 87 degrees on the track. It's down to 84.
Yeah, down a little bit here. It'll get a little grippier out there for the guys. Shouldn't have a big effect on the race at all. But what does have an effect is this nighttime viewing. We've seen this in our 2-hour race. Now we're seeing a quicker transition, or a earlier transition, I guess you could say. But we've seen the effect it had last week, Jared. Guys start missing their marks and making mistakes, and we'll see if that happens again.
Yeah, very good point. Alan Dobbs, our GTE-AM driver, he is in the pits, so he has made his pit stop here, Dean. So now we've really got some different strategies in this race. We're just before halfway done, 23, almost 24 minutes into this race. Out of the 50 minutes we'll run, and this is a race that once they hit 50 minutes, it's 50 minutes plus one lap. So that's it. There's no overtime, no nothing like that. It is done at that point in time. But very interesting to see these guys already on pit road, Dean. What do you think about the strategy we're seeing?
I'm not sure, because I'm pretty sure that Dobbs took tires there. Very interesting call. You know this time's better. That's a long stop. 42.2 in the pits. I think we got tires on Dobbs. That'd be quite interesting.
Well, let's pull it up. Yes, Dobbs on the pit lane time. You'll see it. Kuntz at 15.7. Now, obviously, LMP2s do have a little bit faster pit times than the GTEs. They do use the IMSA rules in iRacing. So that means you cannot fuel and change tires at the same time, unlike the World Endurance Championship. But Kuntz, 15.7. You look at Brupacher, Dobbs, all definitely took tires, 42.1, 39.4 for both of those guys. Loomis out there on the track at 118, so he might have had some damage in the number 17 there.
Yeah, might have had a little bit of damage for sure as Tony Solari comes in.
Solari in the 74. And Dean, we talked about it. This is a track, Charlotte runs night races in NASCAR, so the track is pretty lit, but even the infield is actually pretty lit. Sebring, which does a 12-hour event and half of the race is at night, is not nearly as well lit as this Charlotte race is.
No, they've got the bonus of those big NASCAR lights lighting up the outside, and they've done a great job on the inside. And yeah, this place is quite well lit. They're not going to have the same problems, I don't suspect, but there might be a corner or two where it's a little dull. You've lost your markers. And I know from experience that if you choose bad markers, Jared, like marks on the track itself, those are the ones you're going to lose. You must use things on the wall or in your sight line. But if you're using any markers that are on the track surface itself, you will lose those markers.
Exactly. While we were seeing that, while Dean, where you're breaking down that, Jari Brupacher spun out again in the chicane, and Nick DeCesare heading to pit road. This is where the crucial time is. The very racing drivers, a little bit different strategy, but both pulling the undercut on Wilkie. This might be their only chance to get up toward the front with these guys.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much them pulling the undercut on Wilkie as Wilkie deciding he's going to be last in. He's got the lead. He wants to fresh his tires at the end, and I think you'll see him come in this lap.
And Brupacher off again in turn number 1. The Ferrari, a little bit of damage on that machine. I think it's starting to take effect on the number 89. Yes, it's crab walking. He's going to go back to pits. Tough break for the 89 as we see Romanensky still getting some repairs done. And Nick DeCesare down and away, 15.87, so no tires. Looks like he bluffed a little bit on taking tires in this race, Dean, but the very racing guys back out and down the way.
Well, you know, gamesmanship, all part of it. Put that in other people's head. Maybe they will take 4 and give them that big advantage. You know, we're talking about possibly 30 seconds on the track just for those tires. That's huge. So be interested to see here if anybody decides to take them.
Wilkie getting around some lap traffic, still staying out. We take a look at Blackner. He is still staying out. And Ryan Pagel now leading the GTE-AM. He's got Wilkie on his back bumper, so the Corvette's going to have to be paying attention here. But he doesn't want to lose too much time, Dean, because Darren Snyder is within a second there for the lead of the GTE-AM class.
Darren Snyder working his way up the board here. Last week's winner of the class. Just doing an excellent job. Ever consistent. He's the type of driver, Jared, that I always look at and I always like. You know, these guys who just plug away. They're always moving forward, always taking care of their stuff.
Yeah, and he had a great truck season going, him and Mark Royce. But unfortunately, work schedules have changed for these guys, and Royce not able to run at all right now, and Snyder only able to run on Saturday nights that we offer. So hopefully these guys can get back out in some of our Oval Series because they were having making some really good progress there as well. But this battle, Dean, 0.7 of a second between the leaders of the GTE-AM class, and Pagel trying to grab a win maybe that he lost out on last time we were out.
Yeah, he definitely is trying to redeem himself. He had it last time, and he wants it this time. Interesting update from the pits. Kevin Rupert with 11.9 second pit stop. That is remarkably fast.
And that proves right there, Dean, that these guys, that Kevin Rupert, he might not have taken a full tank of gas, might be doing a little strategy play. Love to see that kind of stuff. And Rupert in that GTE-AM class, he might be a player before this thing's all said and done.
He might, or he might not have got enough fuel in there, Jared. It'd be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, the number 12 back there doing getting past there. He's got Michael Blackner on his tail. Let Nick DeCesare through. But again, Wilkie staying out again this lap, Dean. Wonder how. I mean, there's only about 11 minutes left in this race. There is the potential that they could save enough fuel. As you see Blackner peel off our GTE Pro leader.
Yeah, Blackner is in, and it's 21 minutes left, so I don't think that he could make it. But hey, who knows?
Apologies. My math is a little off today, so
you're doing that Canadian math again.
So, we talked about Blackner coming in. Blackner has dominated that GTE Pro class, but in this AM class, Bergdorf, Snyder, and Pagel have won races. And right now, you see Pagel leading this class. Darren Snyder got held up just a little bit because of the passing drivers through there that he had to let go, but Snyder up into second place. This is a big battle, but don't count out guys like Rex Soil or Kevin Rupert on a little bit different strategy back here.
Yeah, these guys trying to play a little strategy, trying to game the system, if you will, and I love it. You know me, I just love anything. Try something, and these guys are trying it. We'll see if it works out for them.
20-car field here tonight, and you look at the track, it is gaggled up. Not a lot of spaces in the track right now, especially in the infield section. A lot of drivers battling it out. We have a purple sector. That's Dobbs. Dean, Alan Dobbs gone fastest among the GTE-AM class that last time.
Yes, he did. He is really laying them down. He's that early pit stop. He took tires, so watch out for Dobbs. I mean, he's definitely going to get by Hoyle when Hoyle pits. Who knows? He might get by Schneider and Pagel as well, as those guys got to pit yet.
Exactly right. We get back up on our drone cam, and you see just how much that section, Dean, that he just went through. You have to be on the gas the entire time to get that speed. As Joe Flanagan in our GTE-Pro class coming in, Pepto Joe, they're coming in for his first pit stop of the night. Be interesting to see what he does here.
Yeah, Joe, very consistent driver, and it's interesting. I expect him to take tires, but I don't know. There's only 19 minutes left, Jared. I think maybe the rest of these guys don't take them.
Joe had a great lap. I mean, really at the end of the day, very good laps. Looks like fuel is going in there. We'll have to wait just a second here to see if he takes tires. Looks like he is not going to do it. And he is down the way. So no tires for Pepto Joe. 15.35 seconds.
So, interesting. We look at the different pit times there, Jared. You see Romanowski with a, 11.51 in the pits. These guys, some of these guys, you alluded to it, taking a little less fuel. And I love that. Anything that can make this car go faster, make that pit time faster, you've got to think about every possible angle.
Well, Dean, the other thing, too, you talk about Pagel and Snyder. These guys, their lap times, they start out a little bit slower. Now, they were running competitive lap times, Dean, and it kind of makes me wonder, when you start the race off and you've been running 117s and things like that, kind of wonder, were they maybe thinking of a fuel-saving strategy to start the race off? As we see Theo Taylor in.
We see Theo Taylor, and he's got some damage to that back wing, so he's had a little problem there. As we see Michael Blackner getting by him now, that's going to put him back in the lead.
Blackner dominating the GT Pro class. Hasn't been easy for him. Theo Taylor has been on him all season long, but tonight the sun continued to set and Blackner continuing to lead. And now we got Scott Page in the LMP2. He's been running third or fourth all night long, doing a good job in his debut race, and Wilkie's in as well.
Wilkie's in, and the interesting one is Theo Taylor still on pit road, 32 seconds and counting.
He might have had some damage he had to get repaired, Dean. Let's take a look at these LMP2 drivers getting in on pit road here and see what we got the Theo Taylor. He's up in the air, so he's definitely getting some damage repaired on that machine.
Yeah, not sure what's going on. And he's finally away at 51 seconds for Theo Taylor.
We take a look here as Wilkie comes in, and DeCesare coming around through the chicane back here. So it's going to be close, Dean.
Definitely going to be close here. You see Wilkie had a pretty slow stop by comparison, and he should regain the lead here, but it could be tight.
Yeah, and he also lost a little bit of time exiting the pits to the, looks like Rex Hoyle there. Those guys just came out together, and Hoyle did yield, but did lose some time, Dean. And actually that gap is 12 seconds, so DeCesare actually lost time on the undercut.
He lost time, but let's look at the amateur class. Pagel with the quickest time so far, a 10.9. He comes back out in second place in the class. Snyder still has to pit, and he is not far. He's about Pagel's about 10 seconds off of Michael Black.
Yeah, he is. And 27 seconds, Dean, is all he is behind Darren Snyder. So Darren Snyder is going to have a stupid good pit stop, I think, to retain that lead. Ryan Pagel looking for his second win in class this season. One earlier.
Jared, sorry to interrupt, but maybe the big battle, Pagel and Dobbs. Dobbs took tires 42 seconds in the pit. Pagel did not. Can Dobbs run down this 11 seconds on those fresher tires?
Yeah, he's got 11 seconds, Dean. That's what I was literally about to talk about, so you read my mind again. And you're right, 11 seconds. And we'll take a look at these lap times here and see what we can come up with between these two drivers. And you'll see it there. Pagel, I mean, that gap has come down from 44 seconds to 30 seconds between those, or so 11-second difference between the last couple laps here.
Yeah, and I'm not noticing a big difference right at this moment, but let's give it a couple laps. I mean, he doesn't have much time, but over the next lap or two, if he doesn't start to whittle this time down, his hopes will be dashed.
Darren Snyder continuing to stay out, Dean. And, you know, in my opinion, the longer you stay out and the less time you have left, you're making it really difficult on yourself, in my opinion. So Darren Snyder really trying to let this thing go a little bit longer than maybe could be. And we have an incident. It's Romaninski and Hoyle. Hoyle is, and that's on the oval part, actually two different incidents. Sorry, so these are not related. Hoyle spins out on the oval section. The 47 machine gets it going, though. He's going to move forward, but tough break for Rex Hoyle, who was running in fourth place at the time. Darren Snyder in pit road as well.
Rex Hoyle, all kinds of problems as he was up into the wall, grinding the wall. I think he was trying to keep the car up there. Finally came down the track to the apron, spun back up onto the track. So heavy damage to Rex Hoyle.
And that's what I was, talking about too, Dean. It's hard impact for Rex Hoyle. Hard impact on that second spin there. This track is very difficult because you're trying to get every inch you can, and you just come off that the infield section into the oval section, getting a little bit too much there, hit the wall.
And Kuntz going into the chicane, locks him up, fishtails, does gather that car back up. So not a big incident for Kuntz, but yet again, another little mistake.
Yeah, he's only 11 seconds ahead of Scott Page, but he is 50 seconds behind Wilkie, who has stormed out to the lead here in this class and done a very good job. Blackner is in first in the GTE-Pro class. He's got a 30-second lead over Joe Flanagan in the Pro class there. But Dean, the battle, as you talked about it, Pagel 4 seconds over Snyder, Dobbs 11 seconds back. That's kind of going to be our group we're going to look at.
Yeah, always the amateurs here putting on a show, and Blackner leading that Pro Series, but Pagel, Snyder, and Dobbs, very interesting there. As you see, like the pit laps, Snyder was in 2 laps later than Pagel, and Dobbs was in on lap 18, but got tires. So a lot of interesting things going on.
Yeah, and I think Dobbs, you know, if you're going to take tires, you have to get on the pits early. I don't think that you can wait around. I don't think you can stay out and run the whole race and then take tires with 12 minutes to go. You have to have some time on the track. So Dobbs could be the guy in the catbird seat as he is gaining on Snyder, but Pagel continuing to pull away from both of them right now.
Yeah, Pagel is definitely laying down some laps, and we've seen what he's capable of. He did not like the dark last time we raced, though. He seems to be handling it better so far.
We jump on board with Pagel now as you talk about the darkness, Dean. It is dark. A very dark track in the middle of the section, I should say, the infield section. Getting all tongue-tied here. We go on board in the oval section. Doing pretty good there, but Dean, the transition can bite him.
Yeah, the transition can bite him there. And, you know, I was watching Pagel. He almost got the wall on that transition to the track, but he's looking like he smoothed it out. When I say he almost got the wall, he's probably doing that every lap, Jared. That's the millimeters difference that these guys are looking for to get that extra speed.
Yeah, and that can make up an entire second on a lap just by, he goes through the chicane. Very nice. Does clip that inside rumble strip there. And folks, if you haven't raced this Roval track, it is an amazing track. Hard braking zone into turn 1, go uphill into this little wall, like street course area, then down into the Bank America curves, and he goes out right out there on those rumble strips, and then cuts it right down. Just beautiful through that section right through there, Dean, and he heads back up, exiting outside of the infield section where there is no lights.
Well, you know, you said beautiful, you're referring to his driving, but I'm looking at the beauty of the track. I'm not sure I could concentrate on driving, Jared. I may get caught up on the scenery here and lose concentration.
It is definitely one of the best looking tracks, in my opinion, now on iRacing, especially at night. We don't get an opportunity to run the road course at night and NASCAR stuff very often, if ever. But here in the sports car stuff, that's the bread and butter. They did it in real life. And Dean, can you believe it, in real life, they did this thing in the rain.
Yeah, just amazing stuff. Those real life guys are putting it all out there. These guys here, very similar, but let's not make any mistake. The pro guys, I mean, the real life guys, they got a handful of very
They sure do. 10 minutes, under 10 minutes to go. Wilkie continuing to lead. That gap is up to 8.4 seconds. So DeCesare has made up some time, Dean, but I think it's just a little bit too late, too little too late.
It may be, but you never know. I mean, it depends. If these guys have done practice, something maybe sandbagging, waiting for right now, this last 10 minutes. And I mean, it's probably too late, but you never know. If you saved your stuff, you got a little tire under you, you start pushing, and the other guy maybe finding that zone of tire wear where it really slows down the vehicle, it could be a big difference.
So we got that battle to look forward to. And again, we take a look at that AM battle. Snyder continuing to fall back into the clutches of Alan Dobbs. It's only going to be a matter of a couple laps before Alan Dobbs in that number 3 machine is there on the back end of Darren Snyder.
Yeah, Dobbs finally starting to make some headway here, even towards our leader of Pagel. So it took a while for him to get going on that rubber. Maybe he was saving a bit. I'm not sure what was going on, but he looks like he's putting that down now. He might even have to save a little gas here. I'm not exactly sure what happened with Pagel, but he's fast now.
Pagel is flying out there. Snyder actually...
Dobbs is who I was talking about.
Yeah, Dobbs flying out there as well. And actually, Tony Solari is actually catching Darren Snyder. That is not a battle for position. Solari 1 lap down in 6th position, but he does have Eric Bergdorf about 9 seconds ahead up the road. But Snyder just not really getting the gas down, it looks like. And you kind of have to wonder, Dean, did he maybe gamble and take not enough fuel?
That's possible. That's possible because, I mean, he was awful quick, right? 11.3 on lap 28. I mean, he should have enough, but you never know. It's always a consideration out here. But you're right. He seems a little bit slower as he's behind some traffic here. And he's also got the P2 car coming around him. Wow! Weaving through traffic.
Yeah,
that was Wilkie, our leader, who just weaved between 2 or 3 cars. Wow, that is risky for a guy with a 10-second lead.
And he wants to increase that lead. That was an amazing move by Wilkie. You had Snyder there, you had Solari there, and you had Steve Loomis there. And that's a tough situation, but he made it work, and he really is going after it after missing a couple races this season, trying to get himself back in the points battle, and he is doing it in a resounding fashion.
Is he ever? Unbelievable what he's able to do here. I'm just shocked at that move from Wilkie. It was just something like, I would never try something like that, and I probably wouldn't win either.
Hey, me either. That's why I'm in the booth now.
There you go. We got to find our comfort level somewhere. I like talking about it and professing to know what these guys were going through, but these guys, top-notch drivers out here, as Wilkie continues to work lap traffic like a champion out here.
Wilkie doing a great job, and you go, jump on board that LMP2, and just listen to him through this section, Dean. Just never gets out of the gas too much.
No, it's amazing what these cars are capable of. The downforce, the power, the speed. These cars are amazing if you can drive them. And Wilkie can. He is doing a marvelous job.
And we got somebody in pit road, Dean. I'm trying to see who that is. Is that Ryan Pagel in pit road? Did Ryan Pagel crash?
Romanowski's in. I see that.
Ryan Pagel has crashed, Dean.
Pagel again. It's a late mistake.
So there's Wilkie. He's on the apron. He's coming up the hill. So we were on board Wilkie when this was going on. Here's Pagel coming down into the low section, up onto the... Oh, my goodness. Hard impact. Didi flipped over the other side of the track into oncoming traffic. A hard impact for the 081, and that is night done for the 081.
My goodness. Hung up on the wall. Had to go to the garage. Pagel, these late race mistakes are killing him, but we always talk about it, one man's mistake, another man's gain, as Dobbs into second, and him and Schneider are in a battle now.
They are. That's the battle on track. 5 minutes to go. It's coming down. Hard to believe, Dean. 45 minutes down in this race, and yeah, the Pro class and the LMP2 class looking like they might be done. The GTE-AM class, as always, still up for grabs.
Absolutely up for grabs. These guys are right there now on each other. Dobbs coming down into the chicane.
Dobbs looking, can't quite get there yet, and don't look now, but you also have Scott Page in the LMP2. Dobbs is on the back bumper. Snyder coming back up onto NASCAR 3.
What a race. He's going to get a huge draft here, heading down into this next chicane. What will he do with it? He might wait. Looks like he's going to wait.
on board Dobbs. Dobbs waits. He's going to pick this thing out, hits the curbs, heads back through, gets a great run there. Snyder going to lead this next lap.
Man, this is going to be a heck of a battle here. They got Page right behind him. He could play a factor as well.
Looking out the back of that Corvette, and you see it, Dean. I mean, Dobbs is there, and you got to see that if you're Darren Snyder. How do you keep your composure in a situation like this with under 5 minutes to go?
Well, I like what Dobbs is doing. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to make the pass. I'm going to harass him. I'm just going to sit here in his mirror lap after lap and see if he can make a mistake. Will Snyder be, Snyder's a great driver. Can he hold it together here and avoid this pressure as here comes, looks like Scott Page going to make that pass in the P2.
Scott Page will get around this battle. This is about the best place that these guys could have hoped for Scott Page to come through. Dobbs going to look on the outside, try to sneak through with Page. Can't quite do it. Here they go, Dean, again through NASCAR 3, and Dobbs gets hung up on the bus stop.
Yeah, Bob. I was just going to bring up about those turtles. Nobody's really hit them yet until then. Dobbs gets a piece of those heavy turtles. That's going to cost him. We've only got 3.5 minutes left. He's going to have to make a move here shortly.
Scott Page had to slow down because he cut the course, and that's going to make him get back involved in this battle again. But this is the battle, folks, on the track between these two drivers. It is on for the GTE-AM class win. Dobbs, the newbie, Snyder, the double winner. Who's going to get it done? 3 minutes left to go.
3 minutes to go. What a battle. Wilkie still have a comfortable lead out front in the P2. Blackman smoking it in the pro, but the amateur class, wow.
And Dean, this is how the amateur class is. That's why we love this class so much. We love all the classes, but the AM class always gives us a show. No matter how long the race, Snyder a little bit wide coming on back onto NASCAR Oval, turn number 1, allowing Dobbs to get a little bit of a tow coming down the backstretch.
Yeah, this could be big. He got a big toe. He's there. He's thinking about it there.
Oh, contact! And Snyder goes across the bus stop.
Wow, contact there. Snyder has to go through. Dobbs almost losing it. And now Snyder's on the back with a little bit of fire in his belly. We'll see what he does.
We'll get a replay of that when the race is over. We will definitely get a replay on that one because that was amazing to see. We just didn't get a good look at that. Snyder, can he come back, Dean? And does he have any damage in that number 13 Corvette?
Yeah, I'm sure he's got a little bit there. Probably Dobbs as well. I wouldn't say anything intentional was done there. Some pretty hard racing, though. And I bet you Snyder is trying everything he can to get back to that bumper. This could be a bit of NASCAR coming out and me trying to get back to the bumper.
Dobbs leading there in the number 3. Josh Wilkie well out ahead. He is in the middle of some traffic, though. He's got Kevin Rupert and Theo Taylor there. Then we got DeCesare and Kuntz. That's our podium right now for LMP2. The GTE-Pro, it's Blackner, Flanagan, and Theo Taylor is our podium right now. Blackner 40 seconds ahead of Flanagan right now in the 53. That's our battle. GTE-AM, Dobbs, and Snyder. But Snyder dropping back. I think that damage might do him in.
Yeah, I just want to quickly talk about Joe Flanagan. Pepto Joe out here, second in the pro class. Another solid night. This is what Joe does. Very good driver, very clean, very smart. Ends up with big points nights.
And Dean, I was talking to Joe. He's like, I don't like those bigger tracks. I like these small tracks. He said, the way the schedule's coming up, he likes Spa, he likes Long Beach, Mid-Ohio. Those are the tracks he's really looking forward to. Those are the next races up on the schedule. And not in that exact order, but Joe Flanagan, look for him to be somebody to watch here as we come through the middle part of this schedule. Flanagan doing a good job in second place.
Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing him out on those tracks right now in that AM class. Dobbs now really setting sail as we come down to perhaps our final lap.
And the flagman doesn't have the white flag out, but I do believe this is the white flag lap. So Josh Wilkie leading now. He comes through the infield section, and what a dominating performance, Dean. He qualified qualified third, and the British Columbian, as we learned last week, up in the lead and hasn't looked back since early in this race.
Yeah, man, sneaky 007 there. He took the lead pretty early for a guy who qualified in third against some heavy competition. He has been, at times, super dominant and just a great driver. This is going to be a big win for Wilkie.
Josh Wilkie coming through the NASCAR sections in that 00, part of Angry Wife Racing with Dana Herron, who couldn't make it tonight. But Josh Wilkie doing a great job in the 007.
Any of the wives were watching out there. I think they changed that name. So I'm not positive on that, Jared, but I'm pretty sure they changed that team name.
I think you're right, but they haven't formally changed it yet. But we will get there with them. And Josh Wilkie's going to come through the final chicane and take the win here at the Sprint Challenge at Charlotte. And what a win it was. We check in on the GTE-Pro class. Michael Blackner heading down the back straightaway right now, Dean. He's got some GTE-AM drivers in front of him, but doesn't look like they're going to be much of a factor. So he's a 42nd lead.
Yeah, not unless he makes them a factor, and he probably won't. Michael, very smart. Another great win by the 22. He's been a dominant force out here, and pretty easy race after Hannah and others had some problems early.
Blackner heading into the final chicane. Does lock it down just a little bit, but doesn't matter. Michael Blackner in the 22 will grab his fourth straight win, apologies, to Michael Blackner, and he will do it. And then following up behind him, not too far back, Alan Dobbs on debut in the BMW, grabbing BMW's first win of the season. He will grab the GTE-AM class win.
Yeah, Schneider comes in second there. Kevin Rupert going to have a nice night. He'll probably come in third in class. And you got Theo Taylor also coming in third on the pro side of things. So some of these guys, a little bit of problems, but really good points night, solid race for them.
Exactly, Dean. We'll get those race results up now. And P2 class, it was all Josh Wilkie, led from 2 minutes in. DeCesare did come home a little bit quicker. He was gaining time, just not enough time, Dean. 4 seconds back. Kuntz, tough night for Matt Kuntz. He is going to finish in third spot. Scott Page fourth on debut in class. And
we look at the Pro Series. We were talking about Michael Blackner, the 22, going to win that class again. What a great job. Pepto Joe Flanagan, going to be in second, followed by Theo Taylor. Then it's Mark Romanowski and Brody Hanna with the early incident.
And then we look at their GTE-AM class, and that was the battle all night. Alan Dobbs grabs the victory. Darren Snyder will have to settle for second. Rupert on the podium. Bergdorf gets fourth. Solari recovers for a fifth place. Then we have Escobar. Pagel with a tough incident. He'll grab seventh place. Loomis eighth. Hoyle and Brupacher in ninth and 10th. Dean, and you see the winners of the class heading up to the podium. And what a night it was for these guys. We're going to hear from them here in just a second. But first, a couple commercial breaks, and we will be back with our top class winners here at the Sprint Challenge in Charlotte.
The field is rolling on the back straightaway.
Get ready. This is going to be tight. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. The All-American 400 is underway.
Got to be careful. The bumps here can get you every time. Entering the corner, exiting the corner.
right, we are back live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Dean, where we saw Josh Wilkie win the LMP2 class, Michael Blackner get the GTE-Pro class win, and Alan Dobbs grabbing his GTE-AM class win on debut. And Dean, we wanted to go back and take a look what happened between Snyder and Dobbs there at the entering that chicane. So we see.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. It looks like. Yes, looks like actually there was no contact between those two drivers, Dean. We'll get a little bit better look here, but it actually looks like that Snyder went for a defensive line and locked up the brakes, hit those rumble strips on the entrance to the chicane.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that happens. You know, I didn't think there was anything egregious or intentional there, and that's a factor of the pressure, right? You've got pressure all over you. You know, it's pressure on the guy behind, it's pressure on the guy in front, and stuff can happen over there.
Exactly right. But we are going to hear from our leaders, Dean, and I believe we're going to hear from our P1 winner, Mr. Josh Wilkie first. I believe you're down there with him, Dean.
Yeah, Josh Wilkie, 007, our race winner here in the P2 class. Congratulations on just a fantastic race.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. That was a difficult one for sure. This car is a little bit big or fast for this track, but yeah, it was great. Everybody played ball. It was great. I was a little surprised from Nick and Matt there. They definitely had my number speed-wise, but yeah, I came out on top.
Yeah, well, that's what champions do, Josh. You come out here, like you say, I think you started third tonight. Talk a little bit about that early, where you grabbed the lead. What exactly happened out there?
Yeah, so kind of my mindset from the beginning was if I'm going to have a chance at this at all, I'm going to need to get ahead of them quick and get my shoulders out kind of thing and see if I can get some cars between me and them. And yeah, I saw him make a little mistake there, and I put it up the inside and just held my line, and I ended up coming out on top of it, and then was able to just focus forward and try to put as many slower cars between me and him as I could. And I think that's what saved my butt because he just kept bungeeing me.
Yeah, well, you did an excellent job. Now let's talk pits. So we see the other guys come in, they pit. You hang out on the track. Was this a factor of you having that cushion, that lead? You just wanted to wait a little longer, have fresher tires? Or was this a strategy you came into the race with?
Yeah, I always try to go as far as I can on fuel unless my tires are going. I was actually able to pick up some time there because I was low on fuel and my tires were still fine. So there was really no reason for me to go in early unless it would have been to, try to subvert some slower traffic. So I was a little puzzled actually when he went in early. But yeah, it ended up working out. I think it came out with about another extra 5 seconds there. So it's pretty good.
Now, you brought up lap traffic. You know, this track in particular, you come up on it early and often. We caught you. I'm sure you did this many times, but we caught you late in the race, weaving your way through 2 or 3 cars as you came out, exiting the infield out onto the main track there. And wow, did that look intense? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so honestly, if I have a strength anywhere, it's traffic. I really enjoy going through traffic. My motto there is kind of just as fast as you can, and just be. I find kind of playing Mickey Mouse with it a bit is what causes accidents. So I just try to keep my line. If I see a gap, I'm going for it, and that's exactly what I did there. I saw a hole in between the two cars, and I just punched it through there. And that's kind of the way I play the game, really, to be honest. I think, yeah, if there is a strength I have, that's it.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's a great tip for anybody. So many people so hesitant. You're the exact opposite. It worked out for you. A great race win here for that 007. I love the secret agent number there. And this is going to be a good points night for you. Going to kind of put you back in competition as we look forward to some, big races coming up still. You think you got a shot at these guys and you can run them down in the championship.
Yeah, hopefully, eh? I missed a race or two. If I can keep coming out on top there, I might actually have a chance. Looking forward to the next few races as well. I have some strong tracks of mine coming up and stuff, but these guys are no slouches. Nick and Matt are fast, and it's going to be difficult. So I'm really enjoying it a lot.
All right. Well, congratulations again on your win tonight. We look forward to seeing you all season long. We're going to hand it over to you, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks a lot to everyone. Thanks for Full Throttle Sim here and Jared and yourself for putting these on. It's been great, and the broadcasts are just awesome. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the next one. And yeah, Nick and Matt out there, good job today. You definitely had the speed on me. Hopefully, we can be a little closer together next time.
All right, Jared. There's a classy Joshua Wilkie in the 007, our P2 winner tonight.
Yeah, and I'm down here with our GTE-Pro winner, Michael Blackner, 4 in a row. It didn't look like it was going to be easy at the beginning, but you ended up getting it done at the end.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was worried at the start there not getting pole position, and on top of having Allen at the front, he was quick the whole time, him and Brody. So I was just at the beginning there, I was just trying to keep it clean, just get some space where I could hit my marks.
Yeah, and you got around that group. It looked like they might have had a penalty for cutting the chicane there on the back straight. You're able to get around them, and then you kind of pretty much had a little bit of a lonely night there by yourself. Had about a 11-second lead over Joe Flanagan and Theo Taylor most of the night. That continued to go up. You ended up winning by 42 seconds. How much prep did you put into this race tonight? Because you look like you were the man to beat in the GTE Pro class.
To be honest, probably more than needed, but at the same time, there's never such thing as too much practice. That with Brody and Allen, I was watching that from afar when it happened. It just racing deal. I seen Brody going low, trying to make a pass on Allen, and I guess they overshot the brake marker or whatever, and by that point, it was either hit the turtles or go through and get the penalty. So that was our capitalization point.
And then you were able to take over, led the rest of the race, dominated again. That is, like we talked about, 4th win in a row, Michael. Heading into Long Beach in 2 weeks, that's going to be a challenging track, very rough surface. What can we expect out of that race, and can we expect your winning streak to continue there?
I hope it'll continue, but no promises on that. That's a tough track. I've never ran an actual race there. I got the NASCAR stuff thank for tonight. It gave me a lot of prep time knowing the track. Um, the start's going to be real tricky with turn 1 and then going around the fountain right after turns 2 and 3. First couple laps after that, everybody gets spread out. That should be all right, just like this. But it's going to be interesting. It's just as tight, but it's also wide too. So times you have more room than you think, and other times total opposite.
Well, Michael, congratulations on a big win here tonight, extending your point lead out to 31 points over Theo Taylor, 36 over Joe Flanagan, and continuing to do a great job. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, man, and let you have the last word here.
I just want to thank Xerox, Porsche, Valvoline, just pretty much everybody back at the shop. And a lot of prep time went into this, trying to make sure we knew what we had, all the data. Um, you guys for always putting this on, always doing a great broadcast, always enjoyable to go back and watch. And just, I've got to thank the league in general. It's always home, and it's always enjoyable being here.
All right, Dean, that was our GT Pro winner, Michael Blackner, and I believe you are standing by with our exciting classes, the GTE-AM winner, Alan Dobbs, who prevailed tonight.
Yeah, I got Alan Dobbs, the number 3 race winner on his first race here at Full Throttle Sim Racing. What a job tonight. Congratulations, Alan.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it.
So, Alan, we look at your race. Let's start at the beginning there. Early problems between you and the 23. I think he's running the 23, Mr. Hanna, and talk a little bit about the incident.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly wasn't expecting an inside move that early, so I kind of checked my mirror to see where he was, and when I looked up, I was past my braking zone. So I decided just to take it straight through the chicane, take the penalty, and just calm down and run it out from there. See what happened.
10-4, so you get a little behind. You looked extremely fast. Perhaps you're thinking about winning all of GTE, not even just the amateur class at one point in this race. But we get into pits. You come in early and you take tires. What a call.
Well, I mean, I don't road race very often. I don't know much about the tire strategies on the road side of our racing. I figured the tire fall off would probably be a little worse than it was. So, yeah, I spent 30 extra seconds than almost anybody else in the field in pits. But I mean, it worked out, I guess.
It really did work out, and it was kind of the same a few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when we had our last race. Very late in the race, it seemed to pay off. Not sure you'd make the same call, but nonetheless, it paid off. Let's talk about that late race pass now. You run down Schneider. It was Pagel who was leading, but had an incident. Now it's you and Schneider. You're right there. You're being patient, and then we come down to the chicane. What happened there?
Yeah, I had a really good run coming out on NASCAR 1 and 2, and I I kind of thought he was going to stay low, and then he decided to come up in front of me, and his braking zone was just a little bit earlier than mine. It didn't really look like there was much contact on the replay, but it was my fault. I got into the rear of him a little bit, little braking zone mishap. It was racing incident, I guess. Definitely wasn't intentional.
Yeah, we never would have thought that, Alan. Just hard racing late in the race and very tough under those braking zones. I think a little more went on there with Schneider himself as well. So maybe not as much of a fault as you might think. But nonetheless, Alan, you prevailed. You got through there. Then you started to gap them. You come home with the victory. What an exciting victory in your debut race here. We look forward now to Long Beach. Are we looking forward to seeing Mr. Alan Dobbs on the track in Long Beach?
Well, I hope to be there. I've never ran this car on this track, but I have ran this particular track a lot on the NASCAR side. But Long Beach, I've never seen. So if I do manage to make it, probably look for me to just put together a race instead of trying to have a lot of speed because I don't know anything about it.
10-4, that happens out here. You got to get some track time in. But Alan, what a show you put on. Congrats on the victory, man. And the floor is yours. Any shout outs you want to give? Anybody you'd like to thank?
Just thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast and the admins of the league for letting me jump in here and run this with everybody. Had a lot of fun. Great racing on track. There was a lot of clean racing. It was a lot of fun, a lot of respect. And I also have to get a shout out to I'd love to know his name. Honestly, I need to meet him still, but he gave me a spot on Take Two Motorsports for 5 races in this series. So that's who I'm driving for at the moment. Hopefully I'll get to meet my team owner here soon.
Well, that would be me actually, but yeah,
okay,
congratulations, Alan.
All right, thank you, Jared. Good to meet you.
Well, Dean, that was Alan, and Alan, we'll talk to you in a little bit here. Dean, what a race it was here tonight on the Roval, and we look ahead, we look at the point standings, everything a little shifting up just a little bit, tightening up here in the battles.
Yeah, tightening up. The P2 class really looking like we're going to have ourselves a nice little battle towards the end here. Of course, you got Blackner in the Pro Series doing quite a job. And when you look at the AM side of things, it's tightening up. But, you look at Pagel. Pagel could be leading this thing, but he just late in the race, he's not really holding that car in there. Schneider is there. Bergdorf doing everything he can to hold on to this lead. It's going to be highly entertaining for the entire series here.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We've seen some mistakes out of a lot of drivers there, and the AM class has been insane. Unofficially, Josh Wilkie going to be toward the top of those points in P2 now, thanks to that big victory. But Dean, we look ahead to Long Beach. That's going to be a great race in 2 weeks. But we are going to have some more racing coming up on Full Throttle TV here over the next couple days. I believe we are off tomorrow night for the ESRA, but we will be back on Monday night for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League. They will be there with their race at Auto Club. I almost drew a blank there. Auto Club with their Dark Matter Designs Cup Series. Can't wait to do that race. It's going to be great. Highly entertaining race. And then Dean Doucet will be back in the booth with Brad Patterson on Wednesday night for the Blackwater Products Truck Series. And then we also have the IndyCar Series from Elite Sim Racing coming up. It's going to be a jam-packed month of April. You don't want to miss any of it. Championships to give out, points to have, and wins to be taken. We can't wait to have you out there. But for tonight, I'm Jared Carr for Dean Doucet. We will see you guys out on the track.